Hey everyone, welcome to My Wife the Dietitian, a weekly podcast about lifestyle and healthy eating. I'm Rob, and together with my wife Sandra, we invite you to join us on this informative yet entertaining journey through the complex world of healthy eating.
We'll cover everything but the kitchen sink. Each week we'll discuss topics ranging from how to protect yourself from developing cancer, spicy foods to rev up the libido, to caring for your palliative grandfather with Alzheimer's.
We'll also delve into more complex issues like, what the heck is oat milk? Why doesn't my butt fit into these jeans? And every guy's favorite question, will eating spinach really make it bigger? Join us each week as we strive to educate, enlighten, and entertain you.
As summertime starts to wind down and thoughts turn to fall schedules and new routines, September feels like a new year, with a chance to make some New Year's resolutions and start a new routine with health in mind. Kids start to anticipate back to school. This is a good opportunity to help give your kids some independence by getting them to pack their own lunches. As Holly Gates, parenting guru, states, the job of a parent is to work themselves out of a job. Join Rob and I today as we discuss back to school food hacks. All right, as our attention starts to turn towards fall, planning is a key for success with new routines, with health in mind.
Health and nutrition.
That's right, back to school food hacks.
Oh, the hacks.
Episode 34, Rob.
Okay, Sandra. And we're talking all about back to school. So that means not how to pack your kid's lunch.
Right.
It means how to get your kid to pack their own lunch. And you can help them learn what goes in it.
Excellent. I love that idea. Yeah, from the age of 7 on, they can pretty much start packing their own lunch and actually preparing one meal a week for the family.
Kids love that.
They do.
They love the opportunity and feeling the responsibility of that. So,
yeah.
I mean, it might not be like a 5-star meal. It might be pancakes. But hey, it's pancakes you didn't have to make.
Or peanut butter sandwiches is great.
Yeah.
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 Well, the job of a parent is to work themselves out of a job, as Holly Gates says.
And Holly Gates is who?
She's a parenting guru.
A guru. Well, Holly must know then. But that's a good quote, though. I like that.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It totally does. Yeah. We need to trust our kids by giving them more independence and learning how to have like some basic skills for living. And it helps to raise resilient, confident kids when we give them some more responsibility.
Yeah. I remember with our kids, they were quite young, like maybe grade 3, 4, something like that.
Yeah.
We had a little mini bar fridge that we kept in a different room off the kitchen, and we would fill that with all the things that they would put in their lunches.
Oh, yes.
So there's like yogurts and
cheese strings and
stuff for their lunchbox, right? And they would be responsible for packing their own lunch every day. And we would be responsible for putting the food in the fridge.
Yeah.
But we never made a lunch for them. It was awesome.
Well, I mean, we provided the tools.
We went shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were a little young to do that. But they were able to grab a thing out of the fridge and put it in a lunchbox.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? I think it helps. It helps with when they get home from school and their lunch bag is empty, because it's so frustrating as a parent when their sandwich is still there and the apple and all the things that you packed, they don't get touched. And a lot of times it's when the kids pack their own lunch, they will eat it.
Yeah, they're more likely to eat what they've packed because they know they like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
And there is this this kind of anti-helicopter parent idea, a book named Free Range Kids by Lenore Skenazy. And she has a podcast also. And she started a nonprofit organization called Let Grow. Instead of let go, let grow.
She's full of puns.
Yeah.
That's a great title. Free Range Kids. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. It should be
Yeah.
free-range children instead of free-range chickens.
Right. That's funny. Totally. Yeah. So I think it's the premise is strategies for trusting your parenting skills more, and definitely trusting your kids to make decisions. And if they, fail and they have natural consequences that aren't risking their safety, it helps them learn more independence and helps them learn to make better decisions as they, for the stages they're at.
Yeah, it's a bit of a long game. I mean, you can't expect them to be perfect right out of the gate, but if you give them those chances and let them fail a few times and have some frustrating experiences along the way, maybe between you guys, then it will eventually get to a good place.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense.
That's my professional advice.
You're professional as a dad.
Yeah, as many years of parenting.
And the job of a parent is to work themselves out of a job. So
yeah, I'm almost unemployed.
Yeah. Yeah. You're funny.
Yeah.
Well, we always remember the little sign on our fridge, give the kids roots and wings.
Yep.
And that's like kind of similar philosophy. Like you give them the tools to success as they're young, and then they get to make their own decisions as they get older. And then hopefully by the time they are at a school, like 19, they can have wings and fly and be independent and make good decisions.
And then we can be independent.
Right.
Right.
That's
on
the
a beach
ultimate
in
goal.
Mexico. Yeah, looking forward to that.
That's funny, Rob.
All right, let's get into it here. We got a list today, I'm guessing, right?
Well, yeah. Well, we're going to focus on the back to school, starting healthy habits and routines. And as September is a good time, it's almost like the start of a brand new year, like New Year's resolutions, but in September. And it almost feels more like a new year than January.
It totally does.
Yeah.
I love the fall for that reason.
Oh yeah, I know that's your favorite season, I think.
Yeah, I'm funny that way. I really like late afternoon because things start to mellow out, and I really like the fall, like more. I guess it's late summer, like September. I love because things are just the chaos from the summer is starting to like mellow,
right?
But it's still nice.
Yes,
you're still doing all that stuff, but it's a little bit more mellow. Like the panic is off and.
Right.
Everything. It's not quite as hot, but still nice and
true. Yeah. It's like a routine. It's kind of like you get back into the schedules and routine, and it's kind of more organized. Than summer's a bit more, you're going camping and vacations and different schedules. Like the kids aren't in school, so there's a lot of kind of flexibility with schedules and freedom.
Yeah, I really like that aspect of it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're gonna. There's many aspects to health and wellness with regards to back to school and setting kids up and the family up for success. So we're going to focus on the diet and food and nutrition, 3 keys to setting up for success. So we're going to talk about planning, talking about having the right tools, and then healthy lunch and snack ideas or like food hacks.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, there's many aspects to the health and wellness. So we're not really, we might weave these into the discussion, but, sleep routines, exercise or moving the body, maybe reducing screen time, definitely hydration and getting enough fluids, like, water is the best fluid, and mental health and awareness around how you're doing with your mood and mental health.
Excellent.
Yeah, let's focus on the diet and food nutrition part of things.
Let's do that. All right. Do you want me to start?
Well, we'll start with planning. So that's a big part of it. And that's kind of why we're doing this a couple of weeks before school starts, right? Because it's just, we still have 2 weeks of August to go. And, the summer's kind of winding down, the activities, and we're kind of eyes are starting to focus on the fall coming up.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, it's a great time. You have the time right now to kind of make a plan or get kind of starting to think about, okay, what's it going to look like when kids are back into school and there's new routines in our household. Yeah, and you can definitely, plan. Planning always helps with action and success.
For sure it does. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, a lot of like with younger kids, there's lists of back to school supplies that, with the businesses, there's, flyers and posters about get your back to school supplies with us. And that's usually like the pens and pencils and pencil crayons and all that stuff. But it should include planning for healthy lunches.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe that's out there somewhere, but it's definitely not like front and center.
Yeah. It's more like you think of the supplies would be like the stationary stuff. But anyways, there's some tools that we could use for having the healthy lunches.
And we're going to give them to you.
Right. So we think, what do we need to build a healthy lunch?
Well, variety.
Mm-hmm.
I think variety is even more important for anyone who's going off with a bunch of food in their bag for the day. And especially kids in school, because they have these periods where they are just like so uber focused, and then they just need like a break and they want something to look forward to. So having some yummy,
good,
I know that's kind of a different approach to it, but having some yummy things in their bag that are also good for them. If they know they've only got like a stick of broccoli and a grapefruit in their lunch, they're not going to be like, oh, I can't wait till lunchtime. Can't wait to get through this building with blocks class so I can eat my grapefruit.
You're so funny.
Right. So I'm just thinking like a kid there, but I'm guessing that there's a lot to do with that's got a lot to do with it for them.
Right. Okay.
So yeah. Variety.
Definitely. Yeah. And absolutely. And when we talk at the end about healthy like food hacks and ideas for meals and snacks, we'll definitely talk about the varied lunches, and variety is a spice of life with especially Monday to Friday. You want to have some kids like the same thing every day, and that's fine, and they might grow out of that kind of food jag, but a lot of kids like different things, and that was that's definitely variety is key. With the actual school supplies, I'm thinking of like the physical things you need. So like thinking of the actual lunch bag. It's good to have like a designated lunch bag that like the child knows is theirs, and maybe it's got like a bit of
like a setup for like different components.
Yeah, or even just like the kind that are made for as a lunch bag. It doesn't leak.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the material neoprene or whatever kind of material to
neoprene. Like really? Like, well, yeah, I guess so. I just think wetsuits when you say neoprene, but
right,
I guess yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, or whatever kind of lunch bag that you can put. The other thing you need to buy is the freezer pack, right? You want to be sure that the whatever you're packing, and when school starts, a lot of times it's still warm out, and it's like 8 hours of, if there's a sandwich with meat in your lunch bag and there's no freezer pack, that's, a recipe for disaster. Yeah.
Especially if they bring it home on Friday and you don't find it until like Monday morning when they need to go to school. You're like, right. What is that smell? Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So good lunch bag, freezer pack, definitely containers, with lids that match, or, whatever type of container you use for, you might have the little type of, like the small ones for seeds and nuts and maybe in raisins, or you might have a kind of the square ones for sandwiches, or whatever type that you use for wraps, or whatever is in the lunch. So having a good setup with what you need for containers, and that's something that you can start thinking about and organizing before we get back into September.
And make sure they bring their spoons home, their cutlery. We've lost a good chunk of our cutlery, and I'm pretty sure it's at school somewhere. I think stuff goes missing. So make sure that what they take, it comes home.
Right.
That's part of being a responsible lunch taker.
I think that I'm partly to blame too.
Well, you're a lunch taker as well, so yes. These rules apply to you.
Yeah. Anyways, it's nice that you can come and make your meal fresh out of the kitchen at noon.
Exactly. I don't lose cutlery.
You're right.
I
totally.
do not lose cutlery.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So the next huge tool to have, and this not a tool, but groceries is key. So making sure that you're like maybe on Saturday, Sunday, you want to buy, like make your list and go grocery shopping. And remember, we talked about the grocery tour, the perimeter, shopping the perimeter, episode 8, and also reading labels, episode 9. So episodes can be handy to refer back to about how to buy some healthy foods for the household, fresh, canned, and frozen. And fresh, I mean, if you're going to be using it within the 3 or 4 days, that's a good rule of thumb for fresh. Canned, I mean, they store forever, pretty much, or not forever, but, and frozen is great to have just for, to throw frozen vegetables into a stir fry or soups or stews or casseroles, or using frozen berries or frozen fruit in smoothies or in your oatmeal. So having frozen foods available too is really key to having the right supplies when you're thinking about new routines and getting into lunch planning.
Yeah, good ideas.
Yeah, and actually kids that go to the grocery store with their parents and are able to pick out, healthy vegetables and fruits, and maybe picking out something they've never tried before, or, buying a new fruit or vegetable that they're interested in, then that gives them some opportunity to explore and get interested in various produce. And then that will help possibly with them eating it at a meal or in their lunch. And there's a great quote from Meryl Streep that says, it's bizarre that the produce manager is more important to my child's health than the pediatrician.
I like that that Meryl Streep impression you just did there too.
Well, I don't think it's an impression. I don't do impressions, Rob.
Oh, okay.
You're funny. And also talking about the feeding relationship. So how you stock your pantry and cupboards and fridge, you set the tone. And we talked all about picky eaters in episode 13. So the 9 strategies for picky eaters. And it's really important that referring back to that, you think the parent's responsible for the what, like what food and when they can eat, and the child's responsible for if they eat the food and how much. So you think of the feeding relationship, it's really handy to have your child's input into buying some of the food or helping making the list, and then definitely making and packing their own lunch, because then they're more likely to eat it because they will know what's in it, and that helps with their building confidence around eating healthy.
Yeah, for sure. The more they're involved with the decision process, the more likely they will be involved in eating it.
Absolutely.
Because they're not being told what to do. Nobody likes being told what to do. So if they can be making those decisions, then yeah. Yeah,
absolutely.
I just had a little bit of a brainstorm too. This might be a tangent, but it could be sort of tied into kids figuring out, or as a parent, helping your kids figure out what they like. We were at a wedding last night, and the dinner was like a buffet, and there was a lot of young people there, and I was watching them sort of go through the buffet line and watching what items they chose to put on their plate, because they weren't being told what to put on their plate. It was up to them entirely what to choose, right? So It might be an interesting practice, or even just if there's a book or something that has a bunch of different food choices, just to sit down with your child and go through and say, let's pretend we're building a lunch. What would you put on your plate? Or if you're actually at a restaurant that is a buffet with a bunch of different food options, see what they gravitate towards, because it might give you some indications as to what they would like to eat in their lunch, you know?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it's probably not always going to be the bad stuff.
No, that's right. Exactly.
So if they're always putting carrot sticks and little tomatoes on their plate, then there's something they're going to eat in their lunch likely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Good.
just pay attention to what choices they do make in those situations, and remember that when you're making lunches together.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at the last one is healthy lunch or food hacks for healthy lunches and snack ideas. If you look at the different ready to eat foods, so I'm not talking about packaged like Lunchables or things that are prepackaged that are like high in sodium and ultra processed. I'm talking more about, like hard boiled egg, or even like an already peeled one that maybe they've peeled. Or
Right.
if it's peeled, then it's more likely they're going to eat it versus if it's not peeled and it's like this messy, at school, they might not actually peel it at school.
Totally.
And also remember that, like, we have those pickled eggs. They're so delicious. Some kids, I mean, it's quite a
Unacquired taste.
it is. Yeah. I don't know if kids necessarily would like pickled eggs, but if your kids like pickled eggs, there's a great one that they can put into their lunch. And definitely the cut up veggies. So if you're in the fridge, if you're storing, once you have your supplies from the grocery store, and say you have carrots that you just have to wash and peel and cut up, and you can store them in mason jars in water. Same with celery, and so they keep ready to eat crisp, and they don't get all dried up. Or the baby carrots, baby tomatoes, cucumbers, snap peas, broccoli, cauliflower, and then maybe a little bit of dip, like a hummus dip with the veggies.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. Kids love dip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Adults love dip too, but
Yeah.
I think kids, it's they sort of expect to have things to dip.
Yeah. And like whole grain crackers, and try to swap the whole grain for white bread products. So, thinking.
You mean swap the white bread for whole grain?
Yes.
Yeah, we want to eat the whole grain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I say that wrong?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that people weren't going, oh, get rid of the whole grains. We got to get that white bread in here.
No, I mean, like, whole grain crackers, like the seedy crackers are really good, or the wraps, like whole wheat wraps or whole grain breads. Definitely, you think of the calcium-rich foods. So yogurts, like if you have the little containers, and then from the big container, put, into the container for yogurt. And we did on episode 18, we talked all about calcium. So really important. Remember, it's the geriatric disease. It starts in childhood. So we want to make sure our kids are getting calcium-rich foods. So lunch is a good opportunity. So cheese strings, or the Baby Bell cheese, or the yogurt or milk. Those things are all great to include in lunches.
Yeah, for sure.
And fruits definitely is easy. It's one of those, the timeless Mother Nature's candy, having a banana or mandarin, orange or apple, pear, grapes, whatever the kids like for fruit. That's always a good thing to include.
I think there's probably different strategies for eating while you're at school versus what a regular diet would be for an adult. So, because kids need to be fueled for their day, to get them through the day, to keep them awake, and do you kind of know where I'm going with this? Is there,
right. Well,
is there
yeah.
an easy answer to that?
Yeah. Just like adults have cravings for sweets,
Right.
Kids do too. And remember in episode 25, we talked about how to curb cravings when you feel addicted to sweets.
Right.
So you want to prevent those like highs and lows of your energy level, possibly blood sugar fluctuations. You want to, so having a schedule of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snacks between, because kids have smaller stomachs, and making sure you include protein at each of your meals. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks would be good. And, making sure you're getting hydrated, and you're having those naturally sweet fruits, like the orange fruits, like an orange or dates or apple, pear, any type of fruit is good, because then you're getting that natural sweetness, but it's not like candy or, something overly processed.
Right. Something that's going to give you a quick rush and then, yeah.
And crash.
And crash after, yeah.
Yeah. And that's the problem with some of the, at Halloween, the kids get like all the candy, and then of course they're going to take some to school for their lunch, and that's fine. But it should be more of a, once in a while kind of a treat, instead of, making sure every day they're having like candy like that, because it's probably, that's going to affect how they feel during their day, and how they perform in terms of their schoolwork. And
yeah, there's treats that are healthy, but kids will still view them as a treat. So just make wise choices in that regard.
Yeah, because remember, you decide what comes into the home, and how you stock your pantry, and and fridge. So that sets the tone.
Yeah, exactly.
And with the, I said swap the whole grain for white. I meant swap the white for whole grain. Episode 17, we talk all about fiber and how to get more fiber in the diet. And kids too. I mean, they a lot of times are eating white products and white bread. So that, even though they might like it, it's something to try to transition so that more of their grains are whole grain or have higher fiber levels, because it's just really important for them to get used to those tastes and to get more fiber in the diet. Because, 95% of North Americans are not including enough fiber.
Right. Right.
It starts in childhood, and looking at the picky eater like the 9 strategies we talked about in episode 13, it's really important that we have health in mind when we're raising kids, not to a point that it's extreme, but just setting the tone for you bring the food into the house. So just try to have a good strategy when you go grocery shopping and to get some healthy foods.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing with fiber too is it's filling. So it will get you through the morning until lunchtime comes, and it will get you through the afternoon until you can get home and have snacks and dinner.
Yeah, absolutely. And those, remember we last week was seeds, about seeds.
Yeah, seeds are great.
Yeah, and for kids too, like just like a little container of sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds. And, those are like, they're powerhouse of nutrition. They have some protein, they have fiber. It's not as allergenic as some peanuts, for some people, nuts can be more allergenic. So, think about putting seeds in the lunch packs most of the time.
Yeah, and just because they're small, don't let that surprise you. I mean, they are a small quantity of nuts and seeds will fill you up quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a few, maybe take this time in the next couple of weeks to look up some healthy recipes for alternatives to granola bars, like the energy balls you can make on Sunday and then have for the week, or oatmeal raisin cookies or date squares or cheesy muffins or oatmeal banana bread, various types of recipes that have some really good ingredients and that are healthy snacks for kids to have in their lunch bag.
Right.
Looking at what we did, episode 24, how to reduce your intake of ultra processed foods. And that's a good one, just to go over like what is whole minimally processed food and what is like ultra processed, and trying to keep a good balance of less of the ultra processed in your household and more of the whole minimally processed foods.
Yeah. It's hard when kids go to school too, because they see what everyone else has in their lunch, and then they're like, oh, I want those in my lunch too. And it might be like, I don't know, little packs of crackers or cheesies or cheese and crackers or whatever, so you got to deal with that too. But the more often kids are exposed to healthy eating habits, the more likely they'll just stick with that in challenging situations like at school where they're faced with other kids and what they eat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think kids learn what is kind of normal in their own household, and that reflects what food there is too. So yeah, if you just kind of have good
eating habits to begin with as a family or as a household, then those will sort of play into where and how they eat.
Yeah, or not. It doesn't have to
not where, but how they eat elsewhere.
Absolutely. Also, kids are going maybe to university, and they, are going to be in a dorm where there's food services, and they aren't at home anymore. They don't have that same home life. So it's really important for them to kind of stick to a schedule in terms of the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and so that they don't have those crashes with the energy level. And to keep like blood sugar stable, you want to have the kind of regular eating every 3 to 4 hours. Sometimes nighttime eating can get out of control, and that can really lead, to take you off track of a healthy lifestyle. So that's something to consider too. And snacking wisely. Maybe have a mini fridge if you can, and stock it with the fruits and nuts and seeds and yogurt and, various things that are really healthy that you can have access to if the cafeteria is not open.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's all about planning.
yeah.
It all comes down to planning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And fluids, water's the best, and making sure you're getting enough water. Kids can usually fill their own water bottle, and that's just, I think, a habit that you start when they're young. Just like, oh, we're leaving the house. Do you have your water bottle? Like, it's just you should always have, like, I know it's kind of a cliche that it used to be only joggers had water bottles, but I think nowadays it's just important because it prevents you from going for the juice or this pop or the, flavored coffee if you're older. So it's just getting hydrated with natural, like just like water.
Yeah, I think that's a bit more common in school. I do a bit of work in this in one of the local schools, and it seems like each kid has a water bottle on their desk. So and I think the teachers are probably encouraging that because they understand the importance of staying hydrated. And I see the kids filling their water bottles and at the break, and it's becoming a bit more mainstream, which is good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It helps the teachers too, I'm sure.
That's right. Oh yeah. Great. Yeah. So yeah, just to recap, making sure that you're starting your healthy habits in a good direction for the start of September with back to school. So planning really is important. It's key through all these steps. Having the right tools available. So, buying, the lunch bag, the containers, the freezer packs, having a good supply of groceries before school starts. So maybe shopping on the weekend or on the Sunday, or maybe even making some food on the weekend so that you have good meals available. And the last one are all the different food hacks or healthy lunch and snack ideas that we kind of went over.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to try new things every once in a while too. It's amazing. We've mentioned this before, but it's amazing how often kids will change their food likes and dislikes.
Totally. Yeah.
Like very frequently. Like 1 week they won't like something, and a few weeks later you bring it in again and they'll be like, oh, actually, this is pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And remember with episode 13, Picky Eaters, we talked all about how, if the labeling, if you label your child, like if you hear that, oh, I guess they're a vegetarian now, then okay, well, you can't have this and you can't have that because that's, chicken or that's fish. Or,
yeah, you're just helping reinforce that in their own mind.
Yeah.
And then they feel like they have to stick to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they won't change.
It pigeonholes them.
Yeah,
really.
They feel like they're not allowed to change.
Yeah, that's right.
Or
that's
even
right.
if it's something as simple as like they didn't like mushrooms once, and you keep saying, oh, you don't like mushrooms, so we're not going to eat anything with mushrooms in it, and you keep telling them that.
Yeah.
Then they're learning, and you're helping them learn that they don't like mushrooms, and you're preventing them from ever liking mushrooms.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and it becomes part of their identity.
Yeah, we want to avoid that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, there's hopefully there's some good nuggets in here to help get you on the right track to start the year off, or the school year off right.
Yeah, and best of luck. Enjoy your time to yourself once your kids go back to school.
Right. Okay. Well, that was a good one, Rob. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for your info, Sandra.
And yours too.
All right. Have a good week.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.